Hey everyone, welcome back here to my channel where I play Planet Zoo. My name is Nisse, and today we're gonna take the final zoo tour here in Nu Bia Zoo. Once again, I had to finish up the zoo a little fast, but I still really like everything we got in here. I had some more ideas. As you know, I love to build the big zoos. Um, but since I still really new in Planet Zoo, again, I think I got the game in January this year, and I started my channel a few months after that. So therefore, I do not think I actually are in tune with, oh, I know there's gonna be a new DLC around here or something. I still follow a few other YouTubers who do Planet Zoo. If they mention it, I'm aware of it, but otherwise I'm not. And the thing is, when people start talking about dates, I was like, December 13th, that's like in December. Uh, Totally forgetting that I was in December already. So yeah, here we are. Yeah, sorry, I just talk a little because I want to give people the chance to be in here if they want to. Um yeah. I have already all of the speed builds up there, so there won't be any bonus videos this Monday or anything like that. You will be completely Nissa free Monday unless you're gonna join me on my second channel where I live stream Pokemon Violet at this point. I will do that Monday, and I will also be live tomorrow with Relaxing Sundays, which I do every Sunday on my second channel, where I currently play Let's Go Eevee. So it's very Pokemon minded, but I do think about maybe opening it up and make it more like just a live playing channel. But I haven't decided that yet. So yeah, it should be in the description, but I'm not sure. But here we are. This is the entrance that comes with the new biome skirt. We got it last update, which I think it's called African savanna or African grassland biome skirt. So I really liked it in a way. I'm very conflicted about it because it is very basic. However, it also uses a lot of the materials that I never use, and I kind of like that. And I kind of forced myself to do that in here. For instance, I do not like the mud wall. I do not find it pretty, but I do think it match where I used it in the zoo. We will be going a little backwards and forwards because I haven't built the zoo, so there's a logical way of doing so. Um, However, I think we're gonna end it over there with the shops and so. So we're gonna go here straight to the right. First of all, I will try not to make you not just with the cam. Here in front, of course, we have the wombat and the koala, of course, and over here we have the Victorian. What's it called again? Victoria. I'm not sure. Yeah, Victoria Crown pigeon. I knew it wasn't just a pigeon. And then the peafowl as well. Here to the right, we also have the first shops we put in here, and I actually feel like it's a little clumpy, like having shops here and having a big shop area there. However, when I have people in here, I have limited the guest number to 500 at this point to make sure everything flows through this. But when I have like 2,000 guests in here, they will all be clocked, so it's good to have that many at the entrance. We can go up here where we have a nice little deck you can sit on, just relax or enjoy whatever you just bought. And of course, you can both sit in the shadow and in the sun if you like that. And they will be nice and peaceful. And I think it's important to have that at a entrance of a zoo because people like me who have a little anxiety, of course, I at this point have a lot. But when I was able to go out and hopefully someday again, I will go out there and my anxiety will be at a low level. But even though you just have a little anxiety, maybe not even enough to mention, it's still nice that you have this big line outside. Everyone is clumped in together and it's just a lot of people. Even though you arrive early, like people with kids have been in line like a half an hour before the zoo's even open. It's crazy. So when you get in there, you just need a corner where you can go in as a and this is what this is. As you can see, my guests don't really use it right now, but I have seen them use it a lot. And also, when you go home, especially if I had been here with my like bigger family, like uncle, and grandma, grandpa, like the whole family, it would be nice to like we go to the exit and then just can gather a place and just sit and say goodbye to each other before we actually leave instead of just standing outside the zoo on the middle of the street. So it works in two ways this way. Yeah, they go through here because it was the only way I could get the gate down here. And I couldn't make the gates in here where I think that would be more logical. However, you can't lift gates up. I would love to, but I really like that we have the foxes elevated so you don't look down on it. I really loved sometimes to see it be in the same eye height as the fox. What are you doing? Yeah, how long have you been there? Oh, we can just do this. That didn't do anything better. That's weird. That's really, really weird. I have no idea how long these guys have been here. But they aren't happy. They, however, don't seem to be busy to get out of here. Can you please move, all of you? This is what happens when you do things live. However, I play Pokemon Violet on my second channel, and that's everything can happen in this game. I thought this game was like. I do not see this as a triple A game. I wouldn't say that. I think this game is wonderful for what I do with it and what other people do with it. And if you set your expectation for this game, it's wonderful. But it just have some kinks that I find real weird sometimes. And this is one of it. Like they were able to get over there, so why aren't they able to get back? I find that part really really weird. Um, and also the fact not only this, but this is inside, so I would never have noticed if I didn't go in here that they were here. And especially when you play with money, which I tried to do for the longest time, it's actually I think it was after the restaurant I couldn't afford anymore to do this without. Also because I want to be able to actually do something I find interesting. Um, you're really not busy. Like if I was stuck there for a while, I would be like, get me out of here. Anyway, we're gonna drop me down here again. Explore mode there. And G. And again, thanks for the viewer that told me that I could press G and then get all of the things disappearing in here. It's wonderful. I try to remember it with my cinematics. I forget sometimes. But all foxes have like this third of the house that is this roundabout, I would call it. Where over here we have the fennec foxes, and it actually looks like that may be inside of the glass. That's weird. And then they can of course get out. The fennec fox have these two enrichment inside, so they can eat inside, which I'm not sure actually works because I'm not sure the keepers can get in here. I'm not sure about it. Again, in a real zoo, the keepers would just been down to get in there. They will also have the ladders to like feed climbing animals up in the trees or up in their climbing enrichment. They can't do that in this game, which I find. Oh, if they can reach underwater and make those feeders work, then why not? I don't need a climbing animation for the keepers, but just do something to make it work. That would be wonderful. But since we talk about what Frontier does, I have put up a post today. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but Frontier, a community manager over at Frontier, I have closed it down now. Do I have the? Do I have the? I don't remember the name. I have posted on one of the community sites that Frontier have thought about what been said about the striped hyena, and maybe and will make some adjustments. Some adjustments. That's not a promise about something specific, but I think it's the very cartoonish face. Uh, Dr. Hyena, who put my attention to this. Thank you again so much for that. Again, if any of you see anything out there like that, that changes or something like that, you think I should see, oh, always just put it in the comment section. I will see it. Um, I do not answer to weird comment. I have one at this point about the find your love in your city, which I'm just not sure what to do with. And I'm afraid it's something with a bug. So if I click on that, I will get a computer virus. I'm kind of afraid of that. Um, because why else would anyone write that as a comment? I get a lot of emails about that I do not interact with. But I never get any. They are so cute, the red fox. They are really, really cute. And especially when you can get down here. I know the glass isn't perfect, but again, it's what we can do with what we have at this point. Um, it is much easier than taking the glass barrier and make it fit like this. They're cute. They're really cute. Um, anyway, yeah, striped hyena, they will do some adjustments, and there's something I really hope they're gonna do something about in here. Of course, it's the Arctic fox. They are all foxes in here. So it's yeah. I just wanted to make the triple fox house since we got the red one, and these are the three. It's not the only three foxes out there, but it's the three big one. For instance, the red fox have many, many subspecies. For instance, the Japanese red fox, the Kodiak fox, and so on. So I actually think it was weird that the red fox was the one we got last, since it's so well spread and easy to keep, since you can have them in a lot of different climates. Where here we are on a savanna. In a savanna, on a savanna. So the Arctic fox, like, we need to keep this cold for them. Um, and if you were in even temperate biome, like, it would be too hot in the summer, too cold for the phoenix in the winter. So it will just take a lot to do this. And the red fox, just with all of the colorations, Frontier have become very, very good with colorations on the animals. Like, they don't all look the same, and I applaud them for that. I have been missing that with a lot of the animal. Like, even the lions, you have a few different colorations, but a lot of them look the same, even though they're not called the same. Um, yeah. The only thing here is that I actually regret going in here and making the wall between here, which make them bend like that. I just couldn't figure out if I thought it was good or not, and it's not before now. I actually, when I see it from here, it looks awful. I thought looking for a bob, it looked fine, but down here it looks so awful. We have a few of these ATMs, and I colored them all like this to make them fit in. And then here we have the Arctic fox. I have a bit of issues here with that shouldn't be there. With the Arctic fox not opening the boxes, like, they don't have enough space. But it's only been an issue for the last week or so when I have been building in here. Like, before that, it haven't been an issue, and I'm not sure if there's changed something in the coding or anything like that. Over here, we just have the smish of everything and a toilet, because we need toilets. Sometimes I forget toilets, and it's honestly the most important thing when I get into a zoo or a park or anything. The first thing I do is I get a map and I pinpoint where is the toilets, because if I need them, I will need to know where they are. Like, it's not even a question. It's very important. Um, So yeah, and over here you can look into the indoors of the deers. We of course both have the red deer and the European fellow deer because I think it's really important to see the difference. And I do believe I may be making a double wildebeest habitat in the next zoo. However, it isn't like the top of my list. There is other animals in that pack I find more important. Um. So yeah, on this side, we have the Arctic fox. Yeah, I'm not gonna speed through this entire thing. I'm gonna take my time. It will be up afterwards. So if you don't have the time to watch this whole thing, that's fine. It's totally fine. But then you can go in and see the rest later, or if you didn't see the beginning or anything like that. That sound is very really heavy. Oh yeah, I put the water down there. I forgot. Sometimes I forget to put in water. I did that with the civil, and I couldn't understand. Like they died before they reproduced all the time until I noticed that they didn't have water. So it's a good thing that I don't build these in real life. But it's like I love to make water area, but it's more like decoration. But if I need to put in water like a water bowl, I forget that. I also sometimes like the plates of food, not the enrichment, but plates of food. I sometimes forget them. Sometimes I don't put them in on purpose because I feel like the enrichment should be enough food. Um, but besides that, yeah, I just forget sometimes. And here you can see they have a good angle to go up. Like this isn't steep. And especially in here with the Arctic fox, I feel like that was really important. Not for the fox because this fox will survive a fall. And at the same time, they are quite agile. But we don't want our keepers to slip on it. Especially because we are in the area of the world where they don't get snow too often. So maybe we got some new keepers in here that aren't used to walking on snow and how slippery it can be. Um, so I feel like that was important. In here we have the deers again. I added these signs again. There will always be some overgrown signs in zoo. It is on purpose. Just before anyone is yelling at me for that, we will get in there. I just want to like what is what's it called? Show you this as a whole thing. The foxes. Um. So over here again we have the red one that have these multiple different areas, especially because they live in multiple different areas. So I really wanted to split up their habitat. Again, also because they would have the coldness over here from the next door habitat either way, so I could just as well utilize it. That was a jump. That's an impressive jump they have. I couldn't think of a way out to actually get the foxes like have a door here again because we're not allowed to have an elevated door in there. We're not allowed to make a stair down here, and it would look weird if the ground went up like here. So instead of that, I built this whole thing. Oh, excuse me. I'm just gonna make myself a little higher. So under here, actually, there's a tunnel into this building, and then the keepers goes in over here, and then of course we have a little backstage down here. Also because the keepers go to the deers that way. Dun-dun-dun-dun. In here we have the gorillas area. So here you can see there's also a little backstage and another toilet. But here you can see it gets more like into this arid climate zone over here. Still a little foxy. Again, foxes are overall very, very the word me and words, and it's not only because it's English, it's just me and words. They are very, I wouldn't say discreet, like they are shy, and therefore it's important that especially the young or newcomers to the pack that are bought in maybe aren't used to people being this close, like they can get safely down here, maybe hide here, get used to being this close, maybe get a little closer, but there's tree around so they can hide. There's also grass and flowers where they can dip down and be under if they feel like it. I never thought they jumped this much though. And over here, of course, we have the fennec fox. I tried to make the stones a little different. So here we have like I think it's the temperate stones down here and the desert stones here. Um, the fennec fox was actually the most difficult one to make because they do not live places where it's really, really foresty compared to the others. They live in dens under the ground and they also live in urban areas. So I wanted to kind of get that, but I couldn't give them an urban area. So I went for this more deserty Sahara feel. I still wanted really to make a platform up here so the keepers wouldn't go in and it would be uneven. So I wanted rocks to support it. They don't use the area down here, but they can if they feel like it. Again, they have a little bit of plants they can hide in between, but they don't need as much. Again, since they live in urban areas, but also since they are simply smaller. So yeah. They have a little grass here, and it's only because I put in this one, so I feel like it would make the grass grow a little bit in that area compared to the other sandy just area. Again, some of the sounds just sounds a little too high for me. Like this sounded like it was really, really big ears being clapping into together. They have big ears, but it sounded like much bigger. Yeah. We're gonna go a little back here. And this is just on the side it's just the backside of the kangaroo and the koala and wombat habitat. But we're gonna jump over here quickly. Again, we have the gorillas there. You will see them. I promise. I promise you we will see it all. I love this tree. I do not always love the top of that tree. It's the I do not remember the name, but I think if we cheat and go in here, you can see here. I do not always love the top of it. Like it's a little pale. Not pale, but it's very small compared to the tree itself. But in here, it looks like magic. Like it looks like 1,000 trees growing together, and I love it. Boom, it seems like it's feeding time for someone. We're just gonna go here. And I love these olive trees. I love them. Again, same idea. It looks like it's multiple trees growing in together in this very, very beautiful way. Just remind you again, if you have any questions while we go around, why I did something a specific way, or just want to see something better from a different angle, then please just tell me. I am keeping an eye on the comment section if anyone wants to know anything. So here we have the red deer and the European fellow deer. And again, they could go in there. The glass you could see in between earlier, it is a one-way glass, so the deers can't see you. So they are able to go completely away from the humans, even though they don't really seem that agitated with the human. I did run into an issue here. We will probably see it at some point, but these are used as jumping points by the deers. So they will either stand on them or just like jump from the ground up to them and then jump on. The bridge wasn't built for them, it was built for the guests. We do not have a lot of guests in here. I actually never had a lot of guests in here compared to the rest of the zoo, but I think it's because it's really long, so a lot of the guests just go in, and because we have a lot of animals in here. Hey, gorgeous. I think this is the red one. Yeah. And we have a little one down there. Because they are so easy to see. We have a lot of them. The guests just go in until they can see it and then go back out, which I think is kind of sad because I built this and oh wait, there, now I'm regular size, and I love it. I love the way I built this. I think it's, I'm not sure. It's not. No, I'm pretty sure it's not the best waterfall I ever built because I need some of my mods that can do it better. Um, but I'm really happy about it. I think it looks good, and it make it look like a part of nature. Like this was here long before we arrived, and that's what I'm going for with my nature habitat. I built some nature habitat and some more zoo habitat, and that's also what you will see in a lot of zoos because nature habitats is expensive to build, uh, especially in zoos that don't have them. Like if you plot a zoo down in an area here, I told you in the beginning, I have the idea that a lot of these natural areas will have been that before we arrived. Like this waterfall would have been there, especially in the savannah area, the crocodilians area, the hippo and lion habitat. I kind of have an idea like a lot of that was nature before the zoo was made. But not all zoos have that, and therefore, if you build a fake nature habitat, oh, it's the stag in there. He's hiding. They can run completely behind here and hide if they need to. Um, and here I just try to cover some of the building. I don't care if people can see buildings like staff buildings and so on. But I care if zoos don't do anything other to make them fit in or like hide parts of that. And this could just as well be any other house in the area, like a human living house. I mean, um, I had a few issues over here actually that they could stand up here and jump out this way, so I lifted the fence a few places. Um, I love it when they swim. Like they are so beautiful and so agile, and when they get into the water, they don't just look clumsy in a very cute way. Like it looks like it's struggling. I'm even like that. Um, let's see. We have a little baby laying here in the middle of the road. And again, in a real zoo, people would probably go through more of this. You can see again, they stop down there. They don't get into the entire habitat, which I find very, very sad in a way. And I think if I have built it better, like planned out the roads better, um, then I feel like I could have made them do it. But I like people to have options, especially because it's not everyone who would even feel comfortable going in here, even though it seems very nature like and it isn't like a dangerous animal. You can still feel like they are big, and maybe you have a kid that's afraid of them or something like that. So I want people to have the opportunity to like look in here quickly and then move on and get around it without missing the next habitat. And again, that's pros and cons as always. Um so yeah. Again, these patches of flowers, one of the best things Frontier ever did. And I do believe that in the next one we will get similar patches but with grass with different lengths, and that would be just as good. So I'm hoping. I'm not hoping it's like three strands like you would use an hour to make a patch like this. I hope it's big patches so you can set them down. However, we also need some smaller one because here I would never be able to put the big patch here without it hanging out somewhere. But let's move on. And here we go into Stonehouse. Stonehouse was the name I could get to. I was tired when I decided I'm not happy about the name. But I thought about Kitty House, a name I have used before. But I also thought Tropical House. But at that point, I wasn't sure if it would be all kitties, or if it would be blended in. Here, I ended up making half kitty, half ape. Kitty, kitty, kitty. This is the jungle cat, and again, I do not remember who made all of these mods, but in my speed build video below, there is a link to the mod itself. I do not put in all of the links on this video because I have a link of on the information where I got that from, and link of to the mod and my video on the mod on every single speed build. So if there's anything you want to see closer or get the mod or anything like that, it should be easy. How close can we actually get here? We still behind that. Oh, there. Okay, so you can get this close as a guess, and I feel like it's good. In these houses, I feel like there's always that safety barrier to make sure you don't poke your fingers in to the fence. I find that very important, especially because I've been visiting a lot of zoos. Oh, I just jumped the fence, didn't I? At a with a school of different kind of schools, but all with schools, and teachers aren't able, like we had like 3 teachers, I think, to maybe 20-25 students. They can't keep an eye on everyone. They will know which ones to really keep an eye on, but they can't keep an eye on everyone. And people see kitties, so they want to get their fingers in there and touch the kitties and maybe lose a finger on that. So therefore, I think this extra barrier is really important. Yes, people can get through it, but especially kids, when they move so much out of line, you have that buffer time it takes to get through the first fence. In the background, you can see here we had, and we also have one here. I had this plan where it would be very cute. People would be like, "Where is it? I can't find it," and then it would lay right up here. I have never seen them use this part, which is sad because it's cute, and I don't think they use the part up there more because they just want to climb. But when they climb, they just want to get down. Like they aren't programmed with those really climbing around features. They just have that need to be climbing a little bit. Which I think is sad because I would love to see them climb up here. And also we have that long pole going from this to this. I'm not even sure you can see it. Nope, you can't see it, but it's there. But now they come up to eat, and you can also see we have kittens, and they're very cute. It's a very cute mod. Like again, it's not a super realistic mod, but again, a lot of modders have a lot of things. Same with Stripes Hyena, that they're gonna change a little bit to maybe make it more realistic. However, I know some people will be sad about that changes, and that's also something to keep in mind. That I prefer something, you may prefer another thing, and that's also really much what I try to keep in mind when I look at mods. If you don't know, if you're new here or anything like that, I look at mods from Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday, and then I make speed builds Wednesday and Saturday. We're gonna go over here where we have the civil, and it does have water now. You can't see it. It's there. It's there. Can you see the water? I plopped it over there because I was like, I don't want to ruin what I built this for. They're really beautiful. They're much easier to see. Both their habitat is actually one grid shorter than the other. But because of these more striped pattern colorations, it's easier to see them. And they also comes much closer to the fence. They don't seem so shy at all as the jungle cat does. I'm thinking this is Gabor, but I'm not sure. I think we have one lying up here also. Oh, and we have one down here. Down here, a little kitty cat. They're very cute. And we have one up there. We have them overall. Um, and I like to have habitats like this, especially because if you remember you were a kid, you just looked, you couldn't find it, and then you just wanted to move on. Where here you have two habitats, the same place, so your parents, if they want to stay a little longer, then you can just turn around and see something you want to see on the other side. I think that helps a lot of kids' families a lot. Let's go here. This is the hall where we have some soda, some fries, very important stuff in a zoo. And I made these signs where this one makes a lot of sense because of this. This one not as much because apes are noisy. But let's go this way. Oh, he has something he wants to tell us apparently. Apparently not. Um but here I made this technique. I do something that's just layer on layer where I just keep adding things until I think it's meshy enough. And some people will love it and some people will hate it, and it's totally okay. um Out here on the left we have the gorilla. Again, it would have made sense to have them in the same building. But at that point, I already built this level, and I wanted something to be out here that didn't take up that much space. Gorillas actually don't need so much space as I thought they would. Um, but in here, I really much wanted to give you that Tarzan feel because I think it's when we think about our childhood and gorillas, that what comes in mind for me. So I want that idea of ropes you can swing in. I know it's not ropes they do in the movie, but it's safer. They don't do it. They don't climb at all, even though I put multiple enrichment up here. I haven't seen them climb up there once. But screw that. We also put all of the food enrichment here in the front because apes in general like to take time and really just eat, and a lot of the things they eat, for instance ants, they will have to eat a lot, so food for gorillas will take up a lot of time and from a lot of apes. Therefore I thought it made sense to put the food enrichment in the front and then like everything else in the back. No one can look into their house here. However, I feel like you can look into the bonobo and you can look into the chimpanzees. I feel like it's pretty much the same thing you would see, like sleeping big, dark, furry clumps, basically. And I feel like the outdoor is really much what's the most important. Again, I also know not all people wants to be inside of a they want to be inside a building, not that, but with animals because they are a little smelly. They are like even that I have cats. I know my house don't smell the same as it would without cats, and that's just facts. The same if you get a dog. Like sometimes your entire house will smell like wet dog, and that's something you choose when you choose to get the animal. So here we have a little water hole. I actually thought they would like not swim, but just like bathe a little. They do not. They don't. Um, and over here you can see we have one-way glass in all of these windows, so you don't really get close to them. What I didn't know when I made the barrier here is that these faux rocks by I think Nicholas Land Rider, I'm not sure. They're climbable. So this is when in my builds I decided to turn off escape, so now it's not an issue anymore. But when I put especially the chimpanzees in, awful, 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 awful. It was so bad. Like I couldn't click on them faster than they escape. That bad was it. The bonobo did it a little. The gorillas actually didn't. Uh, But it's just, yeah, it's just what happens. You can see here we have a lot of people suddenly. I love those. I love the balloons. The only thing is, like, I would love more different animals of them, but I also know that the game will have issues every time we keep adding stuff. Um, so here, over here, it's where we were before with the red fox and the phoenix fox over there. Kangaroo, just to give you a idea of where we are. And over here, you have this little hole, and it is lower than the others you can see here, and that's a little bit on purpose because I want people to be like, and you can also see we have a little bit of distance here, be like, oh, we can't see it all, we can't see it all, oh, we can see it from over there, and then they will actually go in there, but you still get close here and can see them eat, you can still see them drink, so you can see enough here to be intrigued to see the rest of it, I feel. Again, this is reused from the deer's habitat, and again, it's the western lowland gorilla. It's not just a gorilla; it's the western lowland, which is the subspecies of the western gorilla. Um, and then I made this fence. Honestly, I could only have used this. I didn't need to plop this one over here, especially because you can't really see it from over there. But this one you can see actually from all three places. We're gonna go in here again where we come from, and then here on the other side here we have the bonobo, the ape in the world closest related to us. And here you can see again, you can get really, really close to them. And they are so cute. They're cute. The babies are cute anyway. I kind of feel like the adults looks like really, really old men. And not old men, but like they look wrinkly. Their shape face is for me closer. Like it's like I know our mouthpiece don't hang like that the same way as they do, but in the front they look very much, it's just like their neck is placed higher up. I think it looks like, but again they are also made to go like this because they go on all fours, where our face is made, our head is made to be a extension of our chest area, like straight up. um of course it's not like if you can like make these into one of us, it's not that close related, but it's still something to think about that it can be that close, right? They don't use the climbing as much as I would love them to, but they do use them, of course. Right now they are eating. um oh, we have one up there. And I really like to make these where they can run from one to the other. It gives them a reason to actually continue up instead of just up, down, up, down. You will see the same as in the chimpanzee habitat. Da, 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 da. Can go over here, and here we have again the same, basically the same. You can look a little bit into the house, but I did my best to plug it. Like if you get the right angle, wait, where am I? There. Then you can see like a little corner of it, but in general, you can just look over here. And this was basically just to give them the guests more room, so they don't all need to look through the same window. Um, but I think with these kind of animals, it makes sense to have that middle part where you can't see in, because they will run around the entire habitat. Oh, I forgot to show you here the front. I really like this. Just when you get through here, the way the building just, the two angles just goes into one in a way. I really enjoy that. Again, plants we have talked about. Could Frontier please make people move when you get too close with the camera? It would be amazing. I do not enjoy going through people's faces. It looks very uncomfortable. The building on this side is actually a mirrored building on the building on that side, so there's not too much about the building. However, I did change uh, fence out with glass, since I remembered that some apes like to sling their poop at people. Um, so I decided that I didn't want that. So instead, they got glass. Uh, and they all have the glass windows, which I'm not sure if it's a good choice on this side because the apes are able to go outside in the sun, and here it would just amplify the sun effect and make it very very hot in here. Where on the other side, the cats wasn't able to go outside, so it would be their only daylight. So I'm not sure about that. However, apes lives in or these apes lives in really warm climates, so therefore it wouldn't be, yeah, my beautiful albino down there. It wouldn't be that harsh for them, but and they are also able to like move into the shadow. Like there is shadow in here. And in the wild they wouldn't have a stone building, and again the stone will keep this cold a certain amount, so I'm not sure if the sunlight will warm the building more than the stone will can be able to cool it. And you also have the glass here already. So I'm not sure about that, but I just like to use natural daylight where I can. The chimpanzees have the biggest inside area, which I am a little sad about. That wall over there should just have been going out here, so the cats would have had a bigger area. However, it is also the biggest group. I think it was 15 I put in here, adults. And besides that, I think in the wild they have these massive, massive, massive big groups. Both gorillas and bonobos can actually also have groups up to 15 and 20, as far as I remember. Um, but I just chose to utilize it to make them a little feeding place. And here you can see it's not all straw in here. Um, Not sure why. I don't really have a explanation, like scientifically explanation of doing so, but I'm really happy about what I did. Um, and here we have the chimpanzees. Also, I have quite a few albinos of them actually. I sometimes, when I notice an animal I want to build for, then when I look for other animals earlier, I'm just looking if there's something I really want. And especially with the apes, I really like to see the albinos because I think the albinos looks more human than the dark ones. I'm not sure why. They have the border area. I'm not sure if you can see it all the way back here. Um, and then again, we have this section. This milky effect of the glass is because of the sun, but I decided not to move the sun too much around because I wanted this to be like a natural, what the guest would see experience. Here, from here, you can actually get a little closer and you can look up here also, but again, get very, very close. The chimpanzees is 100% the climbers of these three ape species. So if you want to have them in your zoo, one of them only, and you want one who climbs, then go for the chimpanzee. Again, this isn't just the chimpanzee, it's the western chimpanzee, which is a subspecies of the common chimpanzees. Something I've remembered. The bonobo is only the bonobo because there's only one bonobo out there. However, they also called the dwarf chimpanzee because they are technically still a chimpanzee, just do not carry the name chimpanzee. Um, I wanted to have a lot of not necessarily color in here, but a lot of lightness in here. So I went with the bright colored grass, or the white grass here with the small yellow flowers, and I went with the trees that have really lighter leaves. You can also see here we have the elephant grass. We have the ivy here, the beautiful ivy. We have the whiteness going on here. We have the colorful flowers up in the trees. to just bringing in light, because they do live in these foresty areas that can be really overgrown, which don't let too much sunlight in, but still there will be a lot of light because there will be a lot of things that can reflect the light. That piano noise is awful, and I wish there was a setting where it's just not all sound, just the piano sound. I understand why they don't actually play a piece of beautiful music, because the apes wouldn't do that. Um, yeah, there you can see they run through. It's so good. They actually use the enrichment piece back here to run up the moat, and then climb up from there up here, and then use the rope to get over here, and then climb down either through the enrichment or use the ropes or the base of the trees. Yeah, I really maybe see it there. No, you went back down. Gonna see a runner here, comes there, and then climbs down here. So they have a lot of different ways of doing so, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, it brings in a lot of life. I also put in, as you can see, enrichment up there, so the chimpanzees actually would want to go up there for something. However, as you can see, they pushed it down, and it's not like they push it down and then just go down. It does look like they enjoy to go up there. However, when I build it, every time they use this piece, I'm not sure why, but they would kind of glitch out, and then they will just be boxed and get out at the entrance, and that was a little bit confusing, but I don't think they do it anymore, but I'm, again, not sure. Oh, we have a window more. And again, it's the same, but you get a little bit of a different angle. We can try to go down here, what the kids can see. The kids can, of course, see more upwards if they want to. And then we again have some food enrichment here in the front where you can see them. Again, allowing the guests to spread out and watch for a lot of different angles. And I remember when I was a child, I think in Copenhagen Zoo, it was the polar. No, it wasn't the polar bears, because they had a. I'm not sure which one they were, but an animal that had these windows, and it was polar bears. I just thought of the wrong zoo. We have quite a few here in Denmark, and again, Denmark is a small country. You can take a car from one side to the other on about 3, 4, maybe 5 hours at the most. So it's easy to visit other parts of the country. But therefore it's just, yeah. What was I saying with it? Yeah, I just remember this. My mom and dad going to the first window, and then I looked and I couldn't find it. I jumped to the next window. And so did my brother. And my brother was standing and at another window than me, and we were just yelling, "Mom, mom, dad, dad, over here, we have it. I have it, I have it." And my brother was standing in the other end at another window and yelling the same thing. Probably not a good thing for the animal, but it was just like the competition genes between me and my brother were so hype, and it's just like a happy memory. I know it's not, don't sound like that, but it's just like those experiences where, again, maybe a little different for my parents, maybe a little tensious for them. But it's just one of those memories, like the excitement as I found something, come and see. And again, as I said, I think it was polar bear. I'm not really sure, because it wasn't the animal that I remember. It was the experience of like doing these kind of things. And I think these windows do fit very well with that. However, I don't think it works for every animal. For instance, here, if we look, I'm just jumping back a little bit. On the other side here, we have the Przewalski's horse and the bactrial camel. Yeah, camels confuse me a little bit in English, because in Danish we have a camel and a dromedar. And a dromedar is the uh, dominant dromedary camel, which in Danish isn't a camel, so it's a little confusing. However, they are very cute together. I do like that they fixed the size of the spectral camel after the DLC with the Przewalski's horse because it just was weird. Once again, I know they can jump the fence. I am aware I made the fence too low. So in here, look, they jump it. And the same with these pieces here, they do jump it. However, as I have escape turned off, I decided not to care about the jumping and just lean into it and enjoy it. And I really much enjoy when they jump. So yeah. I also very, very much like the running animation. And here they really have the space to do so. I did choose to give them like this split up habitat. There's the split up here, and there's another one in here. So you would be able to split up either camels and horses, but you could also like, oh, we have a new couple of females that are going to be introduced to the group, so we're gonna put them in this part of the habitat, and then they can kind of get to know each other instead of just pushing them in there, especially with herd and pack animals, the same with wolves. It can be really harsh to get into a new pack that is very firmly constructed to be a certain way. Everyone have a place. Every pack or herd animal out there have a hierarchy that are built in a different way. For some it's a very flat hierarchy, but they will all know who to turn to if there's something they don't know. For instance, with some animals, wolves are very clever. If one wolf find a bird that is bad, taste it, get sick, then it won't eat it again. The only reason why the rest of the pack won't eat it again is because they learned for the first one, we not eat that. We do not eat that. And then they will let it be. For instance, we're gonna go around the corner here. And again, the house here is very basic. I think it's one of my to-go builds because I really like the wood in this. I would love to have some wood that was between this wood, like a little cleaner, maybe cut so it's not like these pieces are round. They could be square if you ask me, but the other pieces of wood in the buildings, we have a lot of wood building pieces at this point, but they also clean. I like that this look rough, so I want to have something in between. Just Frontier, if you're listening, just a in between, please. Or if Frontier won't hear what I have to say maybe Nicholas Line Rider or leave. Please. Can I please get something like that? And I placed this rubbing thing in here because I think it's actually the most important thing in here. Some of you may know I used to work with milking cows on a farm, and I actually learned that there's a legal limit on how many cow you will be allowed to have for each of these rubbing pillars. Like, if you have more than this amount, you need an extra because they need all to be able to rub themselves. I'm not sure if it's in a lot of countries that have these rules, but Denmark have. I'm not sure if it counts for horses also and other animals. But for cows in captivity in Denmark, it's a legal issue because they need to be able. It's the way they actually scratch themselves. It's the way they clean themselves places they can't other way clean themselves. So therefore it's very important. And could you imagine not being able to either scratch a really itchy place or not being able to to clean yourself a specific way, place on your body. That would just be awful. So therefore, I find it very very important. So I wanted to places like this, so both habitats that right now they are combined, but if you split them up, they can still both get to that, and it will be like a happy-go-lucky to area, which I think would put something in the mind of the animal. So if I get closer to this area, I will be happy-go-lucky mindset. I'm not sure about that part, but I just like the idea of it. Again, I could just have placed one in each, but I like the idea about they can get to learn each other while grooming. Um, the eating noise isn't that good either. Most of the time, when I just build speed builds, I do not have the sound on. I'm normally listening to a podcast or watching a movie or something. Watching a lot of YouTube. Sometimes I actually watch other YouTubers make speed builds while I make speed builds. That's a little what's the word? A little I can't find the words today. It's a little meta. Anyway, we're gonna cheat and we're gonna turn around. We are not done over there, but I just want to show you over here. We have the Kamchatka brown bears, and yeah, if you couldn't hear it on the way in my speed build, I was sitting like that every time I needed to pronounce it because I really want, especially these animals that people probably never heard about before. I want to get the names right. Normally, I don't, but I really want to try my best to do it. When I mention countries and so on, I'm not that particular with it because a lot of people will know what I mean either way. But I don't want to be the reason people learn about this animal and then they maybe tell other people about it and then don't say it right because I didn't say it right. However, I always have the name, of course, in the both in the description multiple times, and I have it in the name of the video. So I think that helped that people can actually see how it's spelled. I again, I just tried to read it. I didn't. I actually never look up how other people pronounce it because that can confuse me a lot, especially if I find different people saying it in different ways. But here it is. It's very beautiful. It's very easy to recognize since it has this brown bear energy. Of course, it is a subspecies of the brown bear, just like the Himalayan brown bear, and a lot of other brown bears. But it have these darker markings on the nosy area and the legs, where it kind of looks like it's muddy on the legs, but it is their coloration scheme. Not all of them have it, but I think it's the majority. They can be very, very much bigger and fatter than this, but they can also be very thin, especially pregnant females who will search away for these big salmon uh, streams because there will be so many bears in that area and they don't want to risk their newborns when they get born. Um, uh, but a lot of the Kamchatka brown bears are some of the biggest in the brown bears in the world because of these extremely well fitted bears in the area. Because there's just so much food, and the bears will normally they need to range over thousand and thousand square kilometers. In these areas, they only need 12 because there's just enough food for everyone. So why fight about it? To be honest, which is very very clever, especially compared to I don't think people normally compare cleverness with bears. So over here you can see the viewpoint over here is completely different. We have 3 windows at this and 2 the other place. Which is mostly just yeah, I like to split area habitats up in areas. We actually have 4 areas in here, which you can't really see. We had the indoors and then we have the water and this area. But we also have like a very open area back here that is a little harder to see. But again, here is only the stone blocking. There's a lot of bush and plants blocking, so I think you will get a good view of both. This habitat isn't as steep as it may appear. It's just a idea of a illusion of combining plants and shadows to make this look deeper than it is. Uh, that what I think anyway. I think it looks like in here it's deeper the habitat that it was over here. It looks way smaller, but that is only a illusion. It is pretty much the same both places around. Cutie. And go to the next window here. And again, which window to choose? You will see a few different things here. You can't see like the stone area at all. But on the other hand, you can get a better view of the area over here. I love these flowers and I hate these flowers because we had these in our garden and they were just awful to keep up with. Um, but I really like the color of them. And here you can see you don't have the super view over here, but you can get a different angle on a lot of things. For instance, this path in here was harder to see before. Big chunky bear swimming. We're gonna turn around again to the Bactrial camel and Posvalsky's horse, and here you can see again we had the split there, and the jumpers. Are you gonna jump in there? Nope. Gonna turn around. Again, there's nothing else to do than just laugh at this point. Maybe if I have noticed it really early on, I would have done something about it. But at this point, I'm just like, it looks funny. No, the fall could also do it. I haven't seen that before. So here you can also see we have a few different areas. Of course, we have the indoors, which is just straw, just sleeping area, peaceful area. Here we of course have the water area that is very open. I tried to plop down a few trees, but I don't want it too many bushes. We have a few in here. We have a little more over here. But the thing is, I wanted the sun to be in this area since it clearly wouldn't be in this area. And at the same time, I also knew jumper. I also were well aware of the fact that they would what's the word? They would eat a lot. Like I felt when I did this, I wasn't sure if they would eat it all. Like maybe it's unrealistic that there would be so many flowers and grass around because they would just have eaten it in real life, but I'm not completely sure about that. Gonna go over here and look a little bit at this angle again. Here, just to give this idea of this massive habitat with big open space, and especially because this is a closed area, you have like the closed walls over here, the closed walls over there, and then you have a building in here. So maybe when you come for the building, you want an area where you feel like it's open, it's big, you can breathe. And I feel like this gives the idea of that very well. Over here, I built a little patio area. I wanted to make it more patio-ish, but at the same time I feel like I wanted to have the idea that the educators could go here and then feed it with this, um which I like the idea of, like not necessarily education, but just keepers just have a feeding time and let the kids help if feeding some carrots to the animals, and so that would be amazing. So I wanted to give the idea of that, and if you wanted that, then you needed some open space because it would attract people. So I didn't put too many things in here, but I used these benches, which I both like and don't like because they look plasticky. but this piece is quite beautiful. And then I use this bench, and then we need something to drink because it's a hot day. I did think about putting in a toilet over here because I forgot to do it in Stonehouse. There was supposed to be one in there, but I forgot. But we have a toilet right there, so I decided that we didn't need to. We're gonna run backwards again. Ooh, these flowers. I love them, but most of the time I do not know what to do with them, so I pluck them in here. Especially the purpley pinkies one. If you haven't noticed, my choices of flowers most often end up being something pinky purple, something around there. But in here, guys, we have our Indian elephant, and I couldn't figure out if I should build for him or not. We're gonna end or start over here. Here you can see the rope is higher on this side, and that was what I wanted because this is for the kids, and I just felt like that wasn't fair, so I want them to be able to look over it. Here we have our male. We can always see that because he have the I was going to see thanks. That's not the word. He are having his he want to get his butt scratched or something like that. He have his elfenbein. Is elfenbein tufts? Anyway, I'm pretty sure you already guessed what I mean, and if you know, please tell me in the comment section. But that's not the only way to tell that this is a male. It is more grayish in the color. It is bigger, and the females have this. I'm not even sure if Frontier made it. I actually think that they made it on the the male actually got it that he isn't supposed to do or supposed to have. Some elephants have this finger-like structure on the edge of their snabel. That's not what it's called in English. Trunk. But it's only the females who have it with the Indian elephant, therefore not the male. But it does actually looks like they gave it to him. I'm not sure. Again, it's a little hard to see. But this is both so the female can grab things better, but also so she can be more like not that rough with her little baby. So she can be more soft about it. She can be more like particular, where his trunk is just to grab big things and put it into the mouth. Both because they're smaller, they need to eat a little bit smaller things, so they need to grab small things, but also to be careful about their babies. Yeah, you beautiful as you are. Again, roaming educators, one of the best things Frontier ever done. Then the house in here, I wanted just to lift it up. Originally, I wanted to be just on the rock pieces, but I wanted to lift it up because the really, really hot days, I wanted the wind to get in here. For instance, if it comes from this direction, it's not an issue, but if it comes from here, I needed to get in there and then out there to get the hot air out. So therefore I chose to lift it up 2 meters, and with the height of the male elephant, that actually was a really good choice. They have a lot of investment in here, and it is a little clouded, and maybe I could have maybe chosen to use a little fewer elephants. This looks weird. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a albino, but I'm not sure because I do not have any albino adults, and I also have one looking like that over there. But they just do not look like the rest of them, so I'm not sure why. Maybe it's not just another coloration. Because as you can see here, these are a little different coloration than that. Again, not sure, just telling you what I'm... and here I forgot to take the smaller flower patches to make it bend around. So we're not gonna look at that too long. We're just gonna move on. just just gonna move on here. Um okay, only an hour and a half. I was actually terrified about how much time had passed. This was I felt like this was the only way I could get it this way. If I didn't have the restaurant, I would just have made the water at the ground level. But since I have the restaurant and I have the water around the downstairs area of the restaurant, I wanted that to continue around. And that gave this weird looking thing. However, I think it's kind of healthy for the elephants to have it since they will use more muscles going up and down, but they can also do that in a lot of the habitat because of the way it's built. Over here, I feel like it was just a good place to get the Pokemon, the animal up close, and maybe the keepers would be able to bring them in here and make some educational stuff about uh, we do this, it opens its mouth so we can count its teeth or something like that. Like old circus elephant that can use the tricks they learn but in an educational way instead of just a haha funny way. I not condone circus elephants. I honestly do not. However, I do believe that animals that already have learned the tricks can be used for a lot of good things. I also saw a program like 10, 15 years ago about Copenhagen Zoo who have a polar bear that have learned like this it's a ball on the end of a stick, and when they put the ball to the fence, the bear will touch it with the part of the body the keepers tell it to touch it with, like left paw, right paw, snout. Um, and this teaches the bear to like, oh, we need to see something on the paw, so it does like this so you can see the paw or the snout or whatever you need to see. So it's more like so the vets can get closer to it and make sure it's healthy. Then it's about people seeing these things. But I think you can use it in educational to show them this is how we make sure we have healthy animals. This is how we can see all of these things. This is also some new studies have shown that elephants had this in the back of their mouths. I'm not sure what it should be, but and we can show it this way. And if we didn't do this, we have never figured it out or something like that. Um, and I think this would be a really good place for that. So I kind of just wanted to leave it as a stage. However, I also wanted the animals to be very comfortable. Like every time I go down there, they make me do stuff. I don't want to go there. So I put in this feeder down here. However, I don't think they ever used it because I don't think the keepers have folded. I think I have too many enrichment in here. But then we're just gonna go around the corner here, and here you can get an idea that this habitat just goes on forever. Keep in mind this is Indian elephant because I think people living again savannah area, Africa, they have seen an African elephant, and I think compared to that, the Indian elephant would just kind of look cute and small. We don't have any swimmers at this point, however. Maybe later. We will see it from inside of and on top of the restaurant, so we will get back there. The issue about building this way, I'm just gonna, is that this isn't technically registered as a habitat, so the keepers don't go here. And refill the or redo the food enrichment, so we have bad things in here. Most of the time, I'm just gonna. Ta-da! Oh, G and and in here we of course have the golden eagle, have its name for the golden spots on its beak, which are very very hard to see. This could, for instance, be animals that came from a falconer, what's it called, show, where it maybe have been mistreated, so now they are allowed to just be here and run out their life. Doing the build, I only placed this one. We have any other one? I'm really proud of the water area in here. I'm really proud of that. In here, we have another one. Um, these comes from Birds of the World prop pack by Nicholas Linewriter and Aurora Design. I think again, you can see it on the speedbolt. I have put it in there on the description. But we only have the one variation, so I couldn't put two different birds in here. Um, but I really liked it, and this wasn't my plan. I just couldn't figure out what to do with this little spot here, and my mom was just like, What about a eagle?" And I was just like, "What? Yeah, a eagle. Like zoos have birds, and eagle is a beautiful bird." Um, so I was like, okay." And then I thought about it, and I was just like, "She was goddamn right." So we got the golden eagle in here. We're just gonna go over here, and this is of course a place we have been before. So we have Stonehouse down here, bonobos to the left, and gorillas to the right. Back here we have the foxes, but this is the red kangaroo, which I also think about making a double habitat to, so you can see them side by side with the redneck the wallaby, also known as the Bennett wallaby. But here I gave them the water area, which I initially made bigger because I thought they were swimming. They weren't. They do not. So I made it a little smaller. I made a little staircase there just for the width because I feel like if you go down there with something heavy, it will be more comfortable to actually have a stair than having this. I'm not sure, but here the keepers can choose. Um, and here you can get really close. The only thing I actually regret here is that I would like to have like a rope on top of this just to make sure that you can see here. I think it goes like you can see it's smaller than this. So if you lean over to see something like right down there, I don't want anyone to fall down. So that's actually the only like regret I have here. Um I thought we have a lot of them. I can't find. Yeah, we have the group over here. Of course, you can't see because of my face. We have one in there. We have one in there. But we have all of those over here. Again, we're gonna go with another color scheme in here, which is why I really love these flowers. They can give you the illusion that you are something completely different. In here, I really wanted to go to the blue because we have these beautiful trees in here that have this blue hue to it. So we have this cold tones going on. So I wanted to stay with that. We also have the pinkish going on here, which I don't think really fits that well. Like these would have been better over here, but it's all of it is just a learning process. Um, wanted to them to be able to both be in the sun and in the shadow through all of the day, and they do lay down here where I intended there to be shadow, but most of the day there's not. However, I think it's a really good choice that I built the house as well, which wasn't a part of the idea initially. The idea initially were that this should be their only shadow place, and then when the sun is on this side and they don't have shadow here, then they would have from the back wall or over here, so they would have shadow all the time. However, I think this was a really good choice. Also, because it's the only place actually the kangaroos can hide behind over here. Because if they go down here and hide for the people up there, then they can be seen over here. If they go in there, hide for the people up there, then they can be seen for the people over here. So that's I think that actually was really good. Not necessarily for the shadow part, but just for the not stressing the animals too much part. As you can see here, the piece within here, I extended it out to make it bigger. Also to place a little shop over it, but also here. And here you simply don't get the best view of it. You simply don't. But you see some of the things you wouldn't see otherwise again here. But again, from here to here, there's a long way, and you won't have as many people standing here because they would be eager to get around to find more. Um, little bit shop here. And then here you can see this would be a part a lot of people would see like the first thing because we have the main entrance right there. So therefore, I feel like this would be a good way to like, oh, there's something in here. It's really natural. It's really open. It's really, but I can't see anything. So they would like, okay, we need to go around and then we can see it. So they will be like a little intrigued here and then go around and then see something different. And again, it's one of these places where you can run around and see a lot of different things. And I think, again, kids would be more intrigued with that than some of the other things. Here we just have a little spot where you can sit and bask in the sun. Like a lot of our crocodilians. I made Havana. It's not Savannah. I'm sorry, Simply Savannah. That when I noticed that I have written Savannah, I thought Simply Savannah at first, but it is named after a boat, Havana, which is very famous here in Denmark. Again, very famous is really relative, but it's the most famous like little. It's a really small boat. It's a family boat, but it's just reality TV had made it famous. Uh, so yeah. Let's go in here. There's a nice little place where you just can sit a minute, especially if you brought the grandparents. Their knees can't walk that long all day. They need a break. So you don't need to go in and actually order anything inside of the restaurants to sit down, which is one of my pet peeves with a lot of eating places, both in zoos and every other place. If people have issues standing up, offer them a chair. I don't care about your rules. If people are feeling bad for one reason or another, they are hurting, they can't really stand up anymore, they should always be allowed a chair. Rule number one in my world. And then a little toilet here. Again, I do not like. I'm be honest with you. I don't like this blue color. I don't like the blue benches. But I try in the zoo to build with things I don't like, and I like the view of this whole building. But I do not like this blue color. I used it here to give the water effect, and then I was just like, this wall looks awful. Can I do anything with it? And I could. I certainly could. So we're gonna start here downstairs, and this is why I wanted the elephants to be like this. Now the sun is a little stupid. Of course it is. But you can clearly see what I mean. We don't have any swimmers here, but even if they don't swim, if they just swim, we have one coming there. You can see it. For the kids, this is just the optimal view of small elephant diving. Because of the fact that I chose these window pieces, it looks a little like it's a little hard to find the perfect view of it. Maybe I should zoom out. But again, it works for what it's supposed to work as, and it's not supposed for you to stand in here and watch the elephant. It's more so when you sit in here, there's something nice to look at. I didn't make a ton of different things here. You can see the water is just water and ground. Nothing in there. It isn't like a magical washy-wishy something. It's very, very basic. Again, because the elephant would ruin it anything. Anyway, I thought about making it concrete, but then I thought then I'd rather just have the ground. Going here around the corner, we have a few tables in here. We don't have a lot of tables in here because I think people prefer to sit outside. In here, you get a view here of the American alligator. And once again, this isn't made to give you the perfect view of it. It's just made so you have a a nice view when you're eating, so it would look nice no matter if the animal is there or not. You wouldn't go in here specifically to see the animals. Over here, it's not as interesting to look at, but I still think it's better than what you have on most restaurants to look at. And over here, we have the spectated caiman swimming over here, which you can see. You can see one there. I did decide to make this muddy water first, and then I wanted the pygmy hippo to have some cleaner water because they wouldn't make it as muddy, first of all, and they just don't live as muddy places. However, I needed a way to combine it, so I combined it in this way where a little part of this muddy water would run out in the big water, but it wouldn't be like one water where it would suddenly change color. Because I feel like if you have made it the clean water over here and the muddy water over here, then it would have looked very, very weird. So I think I did the best I could with what I had. I will warn you now, we're going upstairs, and upstairs I will be glitching up and down through the roof. So I will try to find places and then just stand still, and worst case, we will change the camera. But the other camera just moves faster. So here I want this, again, underwater Amazon jungle something illusion, which again, it's not supposed to actually bring you there, but it's gonna give you the vibes, and I think it does that. Again, spectator came in here, and then you can see that the train is not going, or the ride is not going right now, so we will look at that before we actually go on it. That's the right issue. I do only have issues at this point, sometimes in the lion habitat, and sometimes in the mostly in the savanna habitat. The rest of the habitats do not give me issue anymore, and that is thanks to the Planet Zoo Plus mod. So thank you so much for that. We don't have so many people up here, but again, we only have 500 guests in the habitat. Sorry, in the what's it called? In the zoo at this point. You can see here, I'm jumping up and down. So again, we have the American alligator. We have a big fellow down there. I think it's a female because I think my male in here is the albino. I wish we couldn't see the glass here, but I made a mistake while building it, so now I can't lower it because you can only lower it to 1 meter. So I didn't get it down enough before placing it, and I simply don't feel like making it all over, so that's why. However, if you don't particularly are looking at it, then it's fine. We have some babies down here. As you can see here, the mud bath is close to the restaurant, so you will get a good view of that. What does crocodilians do with this thing? I don't think I ever seen them use it. I've seen them like push it with, like if they run into it accidentally, but not on purpose. In the back here, you can see the saltwater crocodile habitat, and sometimes you can even see the saltwater crocodile because they're right here, basically. But the fence, you can see the tree fence, it's the same fence as I used there. You can see down there. It is the pygmy hippo we have down there. So we're gonna go here around the corner. And here you can see the Indian elephants. Once again, we have a little baby down there. Yeah, and I wish I didn't have to use the fence up here, but I needed something that could hold the elephants. And I didn't feel like putting the stones up here. Up here because it would block a lot of the view from the guest in here looking that way. Then besides the restaurant here, we also have just some nice benches. And if you pack your lunch from home, you can also just sit here and enjoy it. I'm just gonna take a break over here. Again, you can actually see the eagle habitat, the top of the eagle habitat, the Przewalski's wild horse. You can kind of see where the Kamchatka bear is over there. And then, of course, we have the bonobos in the back here and the western lowland gorilla in here. And the red kangaroo here in the front. Going a little bit here over the... Sorry. Over here, you can see we have, again, red kangaroo here. Then we have wombat and koala over here, Indian peafowl and Victorian something pigeon. Um, Here we have our two giant tortoises and our Nile monitor. And then again over here we have our spectator caiman, where from up here you can certainly get a good view. Did go for this muddy water, but I didn't choose the muddy water from the game because I wanted it to be more see-through. So you can't see the bottom, but you can see like the you can actually like see where the plants are. Like you can see this very faintly, and that's what I wanted. So you can see where the spectator diving caimans are, but you can't like see all of them. So it still looks muddy, but you can see a big deal still. And out here also we have some benches. We need a lot of benches. I'm actually sad that I didn't remember to put more in here, especially because of the heat. And from here you can actually also see their back area down here where they have a muddy area. They have just a sandy area, and then they have the rocky area and their indoor area. So yeah, we're gonna go down again because I'm already tired of this jumping up and down. And we're gonna go here to the right where we have again the spectator caiman. Am I in the right? No, this is the right height. And again, kids will see it from here, so they will try to look in through the water. And again, you can see something that's close, but the further away, the more muddy it becomes. But we have a fair amount of young in there, so therefore they most of the time are a lot of them in the water. And we just have this little pretty thing going on. And again, with a lot of the things I actually don't like. I do not like these flowers. I do not like these trees. And again, when I say I don't like things, it's personal. You can like whatever you want to like. No rules. If you like these things, it's totally okay. I just wanted to try to learn to use things that I normally don't use. So I went for these that I don't like, and these orangey thing, I like them sometimes depending on what you do with them. But here I just think it all works together, and I really like it. We will look at that habitat when we come out from here. It's not blocked, so we can actually try to get in here. If we can. First of all, I want to have the middle seat. Not this one. This one. But it may not run before. Oh, it's because we don't have enough guests. We can fix that. We can go in to the station if you don't know. And then under load rules, there's a button. I'm just gonna stop the time so it doesn't run from us. And then in the bottom, you can choose don't block station. So we're gonna choose this one because then they will just push them forward. However, if you do this and there's a lot of people waiting behind in the next train or what you have, a lot of people waiting back there and people waiting in the line, then the people in the line won't have time to jump on. So they will have to wait for the last one, and then you will just have a few running without any people in there. So if you have the issue here where you don't have enough guests, it's a good idea to have it on. But if you have a lot of guests waiting to get on, then don't do it. Don't do it. We're gonna start the time here, and then we should start moving. The signs in here on the right, I removed them because they were a little too long away from the habitat, so I did this. But I still leave the holders to give the illusion that that they were still there. I just gonna stop the time once in a while in here to give you the opportunity to look. So in here, I made a specific giraffe area. They don't use it unless there's food over here. I had this idea in the beginning that, oh, we make this area for the giraffe, so they will stay in a group over here. Gonna make this for the buffalo, so they will stay over here. It doesn't work. Doesn't work. I hope that's a behavior we will get at some point. They did right with the new update. We will get some new animal behaviors. They didn't say which. And I don't assume this will be one of them, but it's my little wish. We have the water into the lift here, which sometimes are very overly used. Not right now, but we have a rhino in here. This is, of course, the white rhino and the rectangular giraffe. I'm just waiting for the right thing. Yeah. There. Here, of course, we have the top of the waterfall. In the back, you can see the lion habitat over there. And over here, we have this massive building for the savannah because I wanted to make sure that there's no lack of place in there because it's not worth having them fighting. Again, here you can see the wildebeest just going around alone instead of in a pack. I would love them to be in their little group. But they're not. I would also like that if they just could make the behavior that the animal can walk over this, but don't like standing on it or lying on it. That would be wonderful because in real life, they wouldn't feel comfortable. If you look at the bottom of the tracks, they have these, it isn't flat, it have these grid barrier, and that would feel uncomfortable on bare feet. So therefore, the animals would feel it uncomfortable to stand there for long. Can I please move on? Nope. Then I can show you here. We also have a little feeder here for the giraffe. The giraffe feeder is, of course, the most easy thing to see. I don't remember if I mentioned, but I did actually remove all of my there, and then I just stop the time so I can get in here again. And there. I did remove all of my ostrich because they kept on escaping. So, and it was before I turned off escape. And honestly, you don't need this many animals on a savannah. I just don't know how to pick, basically. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Stop. Here we have the muddy area. I don't know why I didn't lower them. I always lower them. I didn't. Can't tell you why. And over here on the right, we're gonna get the waterfall and a good view of the rhino also. Again, not the best waterfall I ever made, but I still think it's good with what I had. And here we have the West African lion. I didn't use a lion mod this time. Please note that. This is, of course, the is most common one in sub-Sahara Africa, I think it's called. Um, the lions actually don't have, or the West African lion don't have a spot on the IUCN Red List. They have a spot together with the Northern lion and the Asiatic lion. So they are all grouped in together. So they actually have a better place than they may have had if they had a individual spot. Um, and it's just what happens with some animals. I think it runs fast, this one. Is that just me? Here we made the underpass, and that's because I had a idea about that they wouldn't be able to get out of the building. Like, it shouldn't have been open back there, and then they would only have this side of the track, and then the hippo would be on this side of the track. That's not what happened, but it was my plan, so that's why I built that big underpass, because simply it would be too expensive to build for this symbol of a habitat. No, I don't want this in front of me. Maybe we should. That wasn't the button. There. There's nothing in front of it. Yeah. It sounds like there's something. Alright, we're gonna stop the time again, and this time we're gonna. Well, it was hiding. If you have run over it this much, then why don't you just run all the way over it? Not that you should run over a lion. I just say if you run over its head, you can just as well just take the rest of the body while you are at it. Over here we have the radio at the top, you can see, so we can hear a lot of them. Normally we would have the radio in the car. I don't know why they didn't implement that in rides. And we have a nice little sprinkler, both for the grass, of course, but also for the animals. And from this point on, all of the habitats, all of the rails here, all lifted, so that we can, the animals can't get up on the track, so we won't have any issues after this. So this is, of course, the hippopotamus, I think it's called. And the flamingo. I did remove the fish in here because I had too many animals and the game was having issues. So removing 100 fish is an easy way to do it. We have a baby there on the water. Up here we have the land area. The keepers aren't able to go on all of the land area. And therefore there is just a lot of poop on the little island we saw in the beginning. But this is the main piece, and the hippos don't really use all of the water we have on the left side of the track basically all the time, because they go from this piece of land to the little island we had before, but they do not go to the like just out in the water without having a place to actually go. And here we enter the saltwater crocodile. We can see our albino over there and a few of the babies. We have quite a few babies. Again, here we have some land on the left. That was to try to get the animals to move more around. However, the keepers can't get over there. So I put some enrichment that wasn't food enrichment, so they didn't actually need the keepers to be anywhere. Here you can see some more of the babies. I will say, however, the way these breed, you will see a lot more babies than adults. You aren't in this habitat for much long. As you can see here, we already here you can see the fence, so we already are going into the American alligator. But I do believe the way it's built, everyone should be able to get a good view of at least one. I can't promise if it's a adult or a baby, but you will see at least one. And they do actually swim in most of the water, and so do the American alligator. that actually have less water compared to the saltwater crocodile, but more land. Which again, they need more land, so that's the way I built it. Here again, you can see the albino, very very beautiful. And then we get to the spectated cayman here, and we have the restaurant up here on the left, just to give you a better idea of what you get. When I built this, I didn't plan for the restaurant, so I was aware that a lot of this habitat wouldn't be seen by guests, since the guests can actually only stand over there and look at it. Um, and they can only see the water area. They can't actually go over here. I was aware of that, so I thought about maybe when they stand in line, they could look over here, but I couldn't make it look good. So I decided that then people need to pay for the tickets. There's other way. There's a lot of animals in here they can't see otherwise. So that's not my issue, to be honest. If you don't want to pay for the tickets, there's simply animals you won't see, but I didn't make them expensive, so I think it's okay. So we are gonna... Where am I? I'm down here. So now we just went out of that and we can get in here. And as I said, I'm just gonna go into the line here. We're gonna pretend I'm not, but from here you can also see here. You can actually see them a little bit there, but you need to be fast to do that. Nile monitor, Galapagos giant tortoise, and Albertra giant tortoise. They have a lot of babies. Facts. They have a lot of babies, and I have tried going in from time to time and giving them contraceptive. That didn't help at all. I think, however, we also have an albino monitor, but I'm not sure if it passed. Here we can't get too close, and that's a little bit on purpose. Now we are also up in the flower, so you can get like this close. And it is on purpose because, again, the animals need to be able to be outside their house. Here you can get closer over here, but it's a real short time. So there's area here where the animals can go be a little away from the guest and still be outside in the habitat. I also chose to run the water all the way down between the guest and the animals. Or yeah, you know what I mean. And the monitors really like to swim in water, so they have this area here where they can hide behind all of these foliage and the wall, so they can swim without the guests being just up in their face. Over here we have few adult. I think this is a albino. Yes, it is, and it's Tabaya. We have another albino over there, but I think it's another tortoise. I think this is the Albadra, and I think this is the No, it's also Albadra. It's just the male, that's why he's bigger. So I just wanted this little peaceful habitat in here, and these animals can take the noise. They just don't like the disturbance, and that's two different things. Like, you can be in a city with a lot of noise. Some people thrives in there, but that doesn't mean that they like people to be all up in their business. Just to compare. Over here again, we have this thingy going on, and we have the restaurant and the red kangaroo. And from here, you actually get a nice view of the entire habitat, but you also get the idea of how peaceful some parts are compared to others. And I really like the way actually the shadows fall in here to make it look peaceful and not only sound peaceful. If does it make sense? It makes sense in my head, maybe not in yours, but it does in mine. Um, and a little rocky area down here. I do not like when you are in a grassland biome. I don't like the rock texture, so I just cover it with this instead, and I think it looks better. I do not always like the way it looks down here, but I think it's better than the rock texture the game gave us. Yeah, sorry. I got coffee just to make sure that I didn't do that, but this is how much I remembered to drink. Over here we have the wombat and the koala. And I didn't know when I built it that wombats lives in burrows. I thought they were climbers. I always thought of wombat like a smaller koala. They are not. They are actually bigger and they do not climb. They are still a marsupial, but not even their pouch are the same where the koalas pouch go upwards. The wombat's pouch go downwards or backwards in between the hind legs. So it actually looks like when the baby climbs out that it would be a normal birth. It kind of looks like that, even though it's still from pouch. But they got the little burrow down here. And then I built all of this because I thought everyone in here wanted to climb. Yeah. I'm gonna do that better in another video, but I also think about maybe make a video like a nature video or a nature one-offs where I build maybe in the diorama. So I build like the savannah one-off with all of the savannah animal and the Australian outback with all of the Australian outback animal. I think about making that, but I also know that would be really, really long videos because I don't like chopping out things too much. I do in some videos, but I don't like doing it in all of them. Where are you? Oh, there in there. The koalas, however, do climb and they also use the overpass. That's the only way for them to get in here. And I'm so proud of this. And I built this specifically for the wombat. The koala was just a plus animal in here. I built it for the wombat, but I just didn't know. I didn't know. I'm so sorry. I feel really bad about it, honestly. I really do. Oh, we have one in there. Some of the climbing algorithm out here is really funky, so sometimes they just climb in the air. It does that right now, you can see. It's really not stuck on anything. And I'm not sure if I have too many climbing enrichment in here so the computer can't render it or something like that. I'm not sure. That is really weird. And as you can see, they have this little shelf up here they can go up and basically just get some peace and quiet. You can get around the corner here. We are back at the entrance here. If you don't know, we have the foxy area over here. So you can go all the way around this. But again, there's just some things that you still can see. This corner up here is off limit. When you move around, this will block it. So they can really get some peace if they want to. And both them and the red kangaroo have wall pieces down here. So you can see them from here. Then we're gonna go a little. And I really like the openness here. Like, you can see everything from here. And I think this is, especially the restaurant, is something where my parents would, when we got in here, they would take me to the side and see, can you see the big blue building? And I would see, yeah. And then my dad would see, when you get lost, because you will, then go for the big blue building and just sit outside of that blue building and we will come and find you. Remember, this is before cell phones. I'm from 93. I wasn't allowed to get a cell phone before I could pay for it myself. So my dad would find points in zoos. In Copenhagen Zoo, it's wonderful. They have this giant zoo tower right at the main entrance. Here it would be like that. And it's just small stories that makes me happy because yeah, I would rather have a cell phone. But my dad was thinking about shit. Like he had planned that before we arrived. Even in zoos, we wasn't familiar with. He would always, when we went in there, he would. I'm not sure if he just scanned the area. Oh, high point there. You can probably see that from the entire zoo, or if he researched from home. I'm not sure, but he would just be like, "You go there when you get lost. Every time you get lost." Um, and a lot of zoos have these marking areas in different ways. Uh, Tivoli in Copenhagen, like this big Tivoli. I'm not sure how. Entertainment park thingy. They have meeting points around, but they have more than one, and they look the same. They are built the same way. And then they are called different things, but as a kid you can't read, so it's extremely confusing. So my dad never used those. He was like the golden tower, the one going up and down and up and down, the really tall tower. That's what you go for. And if you are somewhere where you can't figure out which way to go to get over there, you can ask the people inside of the shops, not the people on the streets, the people in the shops. They will tell you. And that's just, I learned that really fast because I got lost like 4 or 5 times every time we went anywhere. I also learned every time we went to Belka, some really big store where my mom went to shop groceries once a month when I was small. When you get in there, there's like this counter for just information. That's big the store is. And she's like, anyone in that uniform, you ask to bring here. You just ask them to bring you here, and then they can call in the microphones and call me, and I will come and get you. I learned that right away because that also meant that I didn't need to care if I got lost because I just know what to do. And normally, if you are a kid, again, kids don't watch this. Kids should not watch my videos alone. But if you're a kid and you get lost somewhere and the staff notice that you're lost, you will get candy. You will get candy because they don't want you to have an awful time. They don't want you to be sad. They don't want you to start crying because you're lost. So they will just give you candy until your parents arrive. I'm not sure if they do that anymore because people could be like have sugar diabetes, so that they wouldn't know. But honestly, I just feel like it's brilliant, and I may have used that a few times just to get candy. My mom felt awful every time, but I just free candy. Anyway, we are pretty much as the last point here. I say like we will go around this way and then we will end in the middle because then we can see more of the Victorian crown pigeon. I'm really happy with this. I wouldn't actually. I don't like the stair thingy, but apparently they aren't able to jump down in the water. I seen pictures of not the peafowl, but the Victorian crown pigeon uh, swimming. So I don't understand why they needed this there, but apparently they do. Then they have the other one in here, and I just wanted the whiteness to bring in again. White brings in a lot of light. However, this isn't white. It's really much off white. This is also a different kind of white, and it's just make the colors of the birds pop more. I went with the pink color flowers because I didn't want everything to be white, and the fence is also white. I went with the pink color flowers and bushes. You can see over here to really make a contrast to the green feathers, the blue feathers, the yeah, all of the feathers, the brown feathers. That was the thing I was going for, to just kind of contrast that and without making everything white. And the same I did with the building back here. I just wanted it to be very different. Um, I wouldn't recommend a building like this in a zoo because it would get real dirty. Um, I like I like that I built this. I will never build it again because I'm not proud of this building. This building isn't a beautiful building in my eyes, but I pushed myself. I tried something new. It feels very much like modern architecture, which I am not a fan of. So it's just that. It's just that I feel like a lot of people would like this. It's just not for me. But I'm still really glad that I tried to do a lot of things again in the zoo that I just wouldn't do normally. And some of them really panned out, and I'm gonna do that again. The mud pieces, I'm gonna use them again because I really like the way it ended out. There's not so much, but it went really well with the windows. So I got a chance to use them for something. Um, but I think a lot of us actually, you can't see that. But behind here we have the path. Yeah, maybe you can see it a little there, and then we have the savannah back here. Um, I think a lot of people watching these speedballs, and I know I can see how many new subscribers I got since the last DLC. Um, that's a lot, and thank you so much for that. Um, but I feel that some of you guys have really been loving some habitats more than others, and this is just what I think. And some other of you guys would have really hated the things the first one loved, but then have loved the things the other one doesn't love. And that's just how it is. And I also watch, especially Rudy Ren Camel. He is so organized in the way he built. Like I build, like I feel like this. I do like this. I I I always have a plan like about the zoo, but then like I'm not able to think a thought before I actually sit down. Sometimes I want for instance, I really want to use the high grass to the next in the next DLC a lot. But maybe in real life I'm only gonna use it once or twice. That is a possibility. Um but that was the last habitat. Turning around here we have a toilet. Uh and then this building is pretty much the same the whole way around, so we won't go into all of them. Here, the parents can sit down in the shadow, relax, and watch their kids play. And I say parents, we don't want anyone to just sit here. I know it's hard to make rules, but it's just to make. So the parents, of course, I know in generally, parents would be up here and the kids would run around and play, but it gives the parents an opportunity to actually sit down, relax, and keep a good eye on the kids. It gives the parents the opportunity. If they will take it, that's their own goddamn problem. But we make this nature thing. I did see, I think it was Leaf who made a playground, which I really like with all of the color, and it all looks so plasticky. Which I do not enjoy looking at, but it's more safe and it's more built for actually playing, where all of these things would be really hard to keep up with. And it would be uh sorry, that was weird. Um it's easier to keep plastic bacteria free. It's easier to make it last for 100 years. It's a lot of things with plastic is just more. It's also like a softer material. In a way, like if the kids run into plastic, they don't hurt themselves as much as they do with the wood. Especially, they could also get splinters with the wood. So this isn't like the best for the kids. It's just the playground I like to look at, and that's just honest talk. Then I put these down here because I thought that would make people go down here. It wasn't enough, so I put this over here instead. That works. They go for that, but it wasn't supposed to be there. Clearly. Um. So if I just hit and go around the corner here, you can see. We also have the benches on this side. I think we have it on all sides. And so in here we have the big shop. So these four over, and how much do I need to zoom out? I'm just making myself a little higher. Yeah, these four shops. That is the information, of course, and then we have balloons, had fantastic, and just a memento. And if we turn around, we have. Yeah, I just need to keep an eye because this is what I can see. This is what you can see. So here we have the cupcakes, the I think it's soda, and I think it's slush ice or milkshakes. And then we have some. We have some coffees. So do we have 3 drink strands? That maybe. And then up here I make this, so you would have like again a breeze of air getting in here, especially when I have 2,000 guests and 1,000 of them choose to be in here all the time. That makes the air in here a little heavy, so I just wanted to get that. I do, however, believe that you would have something to close it up, especially during rain season. You would have something. Um, Yeah, don't think I showed you this before. And again, here, as I said, we have the benches all the way around, so you can sit and look on whatever you want. And the fruit and melon here. And I kind of like the idea that this is free for kids. So if you have like a kid that's really like sugary, needs some sugar, you can go and get them some fruit and before you go in with where the cupcakes is and the candy is. Uh, I like the idea of that. But that's pretty much the zoo. I'm just gonna back out here. Again, you can see the blue building from everywhere. Um, so yeah, guys, that's actually was a lot faster. I feared this would take 4 hours. You probably noticed that I try to keep up the tempo sometimes because I'm just afraid of making these too long so people don't want to see them. And again, I can look in my zoo anytime. Well, not after Tuesday. But besides that, I have been looking in my zoo for a long time. But you can only see it through this video, and I don't want the time to be the reason why you don't. Uh, yeah, I don't have too much to add. I think I said everything I wanted to. We will start a new zoo next week with the new DLC, and I'm not sure what. I think I want a city zoo. I haven't decided biome. I haven't decided place in the world. I haven't decided on name. I have an idea that it should be a city zoo because it's been a while, but I'm not sure. I kind of also wanted to go for a future life project, but because of the new DLC, I wouldn't be able to use all of the animals then because I limit myself to only using animals that I could bring home to that area. And we have animals in the new DLC for a few different places in the world. Wait, sorry, a mosquito. Um, so yeah, any ideas? All ideas are welcome. I don't promise I'm gonna use any ideas, uh, but you're welcome to just throw ideas at me at this point. I have an idea for the habitat I want to build, but again, when I sit down, most of my ideas disappears. And no, they don't disappear. I still have the ideas, but they get overruled with my idea of just, oh, this could be funny. Oh, this could be nice. Oh, I want that over there. Ooh, I need some coloration. And yeah, that's the way my head works. And yeah, but you are probably very, very tired of listening to me at this point, and that's okay. Totally okay. So, with that, I just want to say, you know this well, guys. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you know the next time I upload a video. Really hope to see you again. Either in the comments below or in the next video. Bye, guys.